Minglawa, welcome to MITV special talk show Perspectives. For this show, we have invited our regular guest of speaker, Sia Wu Echan. Minglawa Sia.
Minglawa, yeah.
So, unlike other discussions, we are going to discuss about education,
All right.
the value of an education. So, do we really need that education? No education, not equal balls.
Yeah, because a lot of people, especially in the social media or some other story, they say that, oh, you don't really need to study. You don't really need a degree. Because if you don't study and you become a boss, right, you will employ people who have an education. Then why you study and become an employee? Be the boss. That's that's nice to say, but it's very difficult from the practical perspective.
Yes.
Right? If everybody can be a boss and be successful in a world, who wants to be an employee? Right? If you have to choose between boss and employee, everybody will want to become a boss. But why everybody cannot become a boss? Because it's so risky. You will lose lots of money. Yeah. Right? You're very stressful. Right? You have to be responsible for tens or hundreds or thousands of people for your employees. Right? So, without education, and you can certainly become a boss is one in a 100,000 people, right? And some people also say that it's never too late. You can start at 80 years old and become a billionaire like KFC boss, Colonel Sanders. There's only 1% in this world who become that, right? 1 in a 7 billion. So it will definitely not apply to you. So having an education, which means having a degree, is very important. Currently, even in America, because of the influence from the social media or Instagram or some other thing, about 56% of America believes that a degree is not worth the time or the money. Right? You can just be the high school graduate and start working, and you can earn as much as you can be as successful. That's their perception. Well, I guess, from the Myanmar perspective, I think we still have to have some form of a degree or qualification to have a certain standing in life.
So, is there value in getting degree?
Yeah, so let's go back to the statistics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in 1970, a guy somebody with a university degree earned 35% more than somebody without a university degree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for the developed countries that they survey, yeah, and so that is called the college wage premium. So because you attend the college and you get a degree, so your salaries go up significantly. So there's a college wage premium, they call it, technical term. So that was 35% in 1970s. In 2021, college wage premium now is 66%.
Double.
Yeah, so which means for people who has a degree, over their lifetime will earn 66% more than those without a degree. Yeah, so that is the statistics. So if you look at if you attend a degree, if you compare the return perspective, a typical return means you invest that, because when you attend a university, you got to invest money, you got to invest the time. So average return for a bachelor degree is about 14%. Yeah, so that is the you can say around 15%. So that's a return. So that is quite a good investment return. You invest that, you get a return of around 15%. Yeah, every year. Yeah, so that is pretty good.
So that is the value of a degree.
Yeah, so you can be so technical about that. Instead of wishy about that. You can prove the value of the degree in terms of numbers and dollars and cents.
Yes. Okay. So how do you choose the institution and the subject?
Okay, there's always the perennial problem for the people who are going to universities and colleges. What subject do I choose to study? Which university to go? Which institution to go? And the last one is, when do you go? At what age do you go? The surveys and the result is always the subject matters more, yeah, rather than the institution. Because if you study like IT, information technology, or programming 5-10 years ago, you'll be making loads of money right now. Because that subject became very popular with the advance of, all the internet and Facebook and all these social media and all the platforms, right? Online shopping. So that qualification in information technology will earn you loads of money, regardless of even you go to a second-class university. Yeah, you will earn loads of money. At the same time, studying the wrong choice will also put you in difficulty. Right now, if you're an IT graduate, right now IT sector is retrenching. A lot of people are losing jobs in the IT sector. Why? Because of the development of AI, artificial intelligence. Because all the programming goes, you don't need a programmer to write. The AI or artificial intelligence will write it for you. So because of that, you know how bad it is? I'll tell you. In US, there are 5 big IT companies called FANG. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. These 5 companies, they are not taking any interns for last year and this year. No more alote, no more interns they are taking in. They're recruiting 0 people.
Why? Because of AI.
Because of AI.
Yeah.
They don't need IT people anymore. Right? So what I'm saying, if you study IT, if you graduate IT this year, you will be in trouble. Regardless, even if you graduate from Harvard or some MIT or whatever. Of course, the top university always you're safe, but it's very difficult to get in also. Right? So what I'm saying, the choice of the subject matters more than the choice of the university. It's not that the choice of university does not matter. It matters because if you get to the top university, it's always good. Right? So the choice of the subject is more important than the choice of the university. And the other one is the timing. Yeah, timing also as important as the choice of the subject. Because if you go to the university at the age of 35, it doesn't help. The returns are a lot less. Right? Because a lot of your working life, you work at very low pay because you're not a graduate. And later at the age of 35, you go to university. Right? So the wage differential by the time is not so much anymore. Right? So you need to study as early as you can for the university education. Right? So the 3 things I'll repeat. The first one is the subject. Subject matter matters a lot. So you need to see it carefully. You need to focus carefully what subjects, area will be popular in the future. Right? If you so that you won't make the mistake of studying for the wrong subject and you will not get employed. Right? Timing is very important. The earlier you study, the better it is. The choice of university, not that important, but if you get into the top universities, it's always good.
It's very interesting how to choose the subject and how to get this degree from which institution or which university. So what if you drop out?
Okay, there's also, there's also the famous dropouts in the world. For example, Steve Jobs, Apple was a dropout. Mark Zuckerberg is a dropout. Right? So many dropouts that, people have the wrong impression that you can still drop out of the university and you can still be a billionaire. It's totally wrong. You cannot drop out. The cost of dropout is so big, based on statistics. If you drop out from the university, you make a big loss. Yeah, even not going to the university is better than the university dropout. Yeah, but at the same time, if it is typically 40% of the graduates at this point in time in the world, they don't graduate. They are always delayed in their graduation because they fail the exam or they go and do something else or whatever. They don't complete their degree programs in time. So that's the statistics. What I want to highlight is, it's no good dropping out. Yeah, you cannot be Steve Jobs, you cannot be Mark Zuckerberg and become famous by dropping out. No way. Yeah, so you still have to finish up your education.
So even at the university level, dropout is impossible to get a better job. Yeah.
Correct.
So how about foreign degree, diploma, and other programs?
Yeah, as Myanmar students, we have to watch out for the lots of because lots of programs, university programs, and lots of schools from overseas being offering courses here. You got to watch out for that because you got to look at the institution, right? So many private university, I don't even want to name them because there's so many of them here, right? And plus, other universities overseas also advertising their programs in Myanmar. So the first thing you got to look at the institution. What is their ranking, right? You got to look at their graduates, whether they can get the job or not. Now that's the second thing. Plus, you got to look at the profile of the graduate, and you got to talk to the recent graduate. And the fact is, you cannot just simply believe in the brochures. Brochures are all nicely prepared, but it's not. For example, you need to understand it's about your knowledge. For example, in Singapore, if you go to the private universities or private colleges, you cannot get a work pass after you graduate in Singapore. There's an example. In Singapore, only if you go and attend government-owned, government-sponsored, government schools, government universities, government colleges, government polytechnics, only then, after you graduate, you are continue to stay and work in Singapore. If you go and study in private universities and private colleges, you cannot get a work pass after you finish that colleges and universities. Yeah, so you don't want to waste your money, but in the private colleges, if you somehow later want to work in Singapore.
So there is a difference for the government school and also private school.
Correct.
So that is the difference. And what is the impact of COVID?
Yeah, the impact of the COVID, COVID started in 2000 and plus 2021, there's still COVID, right? So during the COVID, what happened to most schools? Most of the schools are closed. Yeah. Most of the world schools, 98%, they were open by the June 2022. Almost all schools in the world are reopened. 2022 mid. Yeah. So from 2020 until 2022, most of the schools are closed, and a lot of them go through the online learning and online program. The impact of that is, the English and mathematics scores fall by around 10% because of this online learning. That shows that online learning, online education is not as effective as the face-to-face education. When you do face-to-face, because of the online learning, the English and mathematics score dropped across the world because of online learning. Yeah, so it's the impact of the COVID. Yeah, so obviously the eventual impact of this is going to last longer because people's skill of, the people, they may have passed the standards, they may have passed the level, they may have passed the forms, but the level of the knowledge is not as good as the face-to-face learning.
So that is the disadvantage of online education.
Yeah.
Yes. So how does Myanmar fare?
Well, because the issue with Myanmar universities is that they are sort of sad to say a little bit, they are past their heydays. During the pre-colonial time, before the independence time, University of Yangon is one of the top in Southeast Asia. Now Yangon University ranking globally is about 6,500 plus. Yeah, compared to National University of Singapore is about 11 or 12 in the world. Right, so we are like 6,500 plus. So which means the employers will look down on our graduates because they will not employ our graduate. Because if you come from a university with a ranking of 100 and I come from the university with a ranking of 6,000, as an employer, which one will you choose?
100.
Yeah, 100, correct, exactly. So the university rankings are so important in some sense, right? That drives the recognition by the whole world and essentially by the employers, right? Because previously Myanmar education is quite good because Myanmar people are heading the World Bank, Myanmar people heading the United Nations, right? So Myanmar people also heading ASEAN. So because of education, right now, if you compete at that level, we are far, far behind. because of our this educational ranking and drop standards. Yeah, that's the so that's why a lot of foreign universities are coming here and they can invade rather than no foreigners will come and attend at our universities.
So this is the situation in Myanmar. And what immediate changes can we make to standard to?
Yeah, essentially the university is as good as its graduates. So if its graduates are not well demanded by the employers, right, the university is essentially no good. Because if you look at the world top university, if you have the Singapore top university, before you graduate, you already got a job. Yeah, and the employers are willing to pay you a lot of money. Yeah, because they know that you are equipped with the skills that needed in the commercial world. Plus, in terms of hard skills, you need programming, you need a little bit of programming knowledge, a lot of IT knowledge, yeah, plus, at least a second language knowledge. Only then, even though your university ranking may not be that high, at least you have other skills that are very, very useful to the companies. Then your university graduates will be more highly paid.
So they are, after they get the degree, they can able to switch on the work and also get
Higher
some
pay. Yeah,
income.
obviously, the purpose of working is to get higher pay. Right? I mean, the one of the major purpose of working is to get higher pay. Right? So if Myanmar graduates are earning like, $300 and Singapore graduates are earning like $4,000, there is a, significant differential. So in order to address that, we need the skills that employers demand. The employers demand just some of the skills that I mentioned: presentation skill, public speaking skill, management skills, hard skills, IT skills, programming skills, language skills. Right? So only when we have that, we'll have better pay.
Thank you, Sia. Now we realize that education is the best investment for our best life achievement. And thank you for sharing your insightful discussion.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You have been watching MITV special talk show Perspectives. Thanks for joining us.